Huzzah!
Hey, are we live?
I think
I've got to refresh this page.
Sure we are.
It could be deceiving us, though. Evil little.
Who knows? It could
live.
be messed up. It
Yeah.
could be live.
Something's happening.
We could
There
be
we
talking into the air. Aha, okay.
Talking to the void. Hopefully the void says hi back.
The void
That's a
says
nice
hi
void.
back. Such a sweet, polite void.
Oh,
Artemis, what do you want?
seems a little lonely. The void.
Just
Oh, someone said hi. Hi. Cat.
she was perfectly content being nowhere near me the second that we're all like, hi, yes, we're live. I just feel her little paw on my arm like, mother.
Oh, I love your cats. I love all cats. All cats are
I
so
miss having
beautiful.
cats. I grew up with cats, and now I got 2 dogs, which they're great.
I miss having furry friends.
Yeah.
I don't have any animals because I'm in a dorm room.
I see some hellos and some yup your lives. I would put you on the screen, but my hands are busy.
Cats are more important than chat. No offense, chat. Actually, some offense, chat. You're not as important as cats. I mean, like, that's just a statement.
All the offense was intended. If the void says hi back, I'd run. See, it's because you don't have an adventurous spirit. It's like Jenna and I were talking about her upcoming monster video. And like we were talking about some of the tropes she picked. And she and I are both huge monster fans. Mm-hmm. And there's this part where she talks about, like, you know, some monsters, like by the end of it, you want to keep them home as pets. And I'm like me with 99% of monsters. I'm just like, oh, I just want to have one now. That's like when we were watching the Aliens. Which Aliens is the white alien?
What?
The baby alien. When Ripley's the mama.
Resurrection.
Okay, so in Aliens Resurrection, Ripley and the Queen alien's DNA were cloned together, and then there's this white alien that was like basically made from her DNA, so it's like her baby. And so the entire movie, because I just can't get scared by horror movies, so I just have my own fun with them. So the entire movie, like, he and I were watching it. This was actually back when we were like dating. So he's in Florida, I'm in Tennessee, and we're doing like a video chat with it. Mm-hmm. And so when the baby, well, it's not actually a baby, it's a full-grown alien monster. But whenever it pops up on screen, I was like, Mama, where are you?
Mama.
But okay, it's referred to as the newborn, so I'm fine calling it baby. And then, like, at the end, I'm like, no, Mama, why would you kill me, Mama? I just wanted to love you. And then what made this worse was he said that they actually released a, like, short story novel thingy from the newborn's perspective, and that's essentially exactly how its perspective is. And I'm like, see, it just wanted its mother. How dare you? It just saw the other people, and it was like food, and they're trying to hurt Mama, so I should kill them. I'm like, I will always side with the monster. I will always side with the monster.
Note to self: don't be in a monster movie with Sam. Just like
okay. First of all, if I'm in the horror movie, bitch is going down. I know how to survive.
Okay, cool.
We were like in Cyborg Central, we're joking around one day about, like, there was a were-hedgehog. And someone was like, Sam's in a paranormal love triangle with a were-hedgehog. Like, me and the hedgehog were fighting for somebody else's affection. And I was like, it's fine, I know how to take it down. Either we're going to have to use silver, or hedgehogs can't swim, so I'll just, like, push it into a thing. And, like, I just had all these plans, and I'm like, I'm prepared.
Hedgehogs can't swim?
They cannot. They just sink.
Oh,
see? Like,
it's really funny.
It does not matter what I'm going up against. I'm a no.
You don't have to run fast. You just got to run faster than the people you're with.
Yeah.
Just got to know how to take it out. All right, let's look at what chat's saying. I'm writing a sci-fi series. Futuristic Adolf Hitler invades from Earth 2. The time period he's invading is right before Elizabeth became queen in the Golden Age. Oh, so it's like a sci-fi alternate history Earth thing.
Yeah, alternate timeline.
See, Stieg, if Jessica was the void, you would have missed out.
Yeah, I'm great friends with Jessica now.
Yes, September is the month of writing sprints and no let's talks because I started the month with a week-long migraine that had me bedridden, and then now I have a migraine that's going on 3 weeks.
Stupid evil migraine.
It's setting a record for me, anyway. Some people's can last months, and I'm like, let's not. How about we just not do that?
I'm all about pushing my strength level, but we can.
I'm all about testing my reserves, but not that much. I'm adventurous enough, but I don't need to venture to the other side to feel alive. I do. How dare you? It was a baby. Technically, all of them are babies because they just like pop up. But yeah. I have no idea.
Well, in the original, Alien only lasted like a day, and they died.
Really? They just die after a day?
Yeah, because they were outside the house.
So
it kind of changed.
So it takes them longer to be born than they get to live?
You have to remember, they're like a bioweapon, or so they.
Oh, that's fair. That is
lean
fair.
on the knowledge.
All those fucking Alien movies, and I still don't understand what the fuck is going on with that black goo and shit.
All I know is I like Predators more.
I love his explanation, and it ends with black goo and shit.
Yeah.
And everybody understands exactly what he's referring to.
I have no idea.
Nice. It's okay. It's okay. Hedgehogs can't stomach milk either. Look, see? So we get the hedgehog a smoothie. No, a milkshake. We get the hedgehog a milkshake, and then while it's suffering its digestive issues, we throw it into a lake, and the hedgehog is
like melted silver.
Don't get
melted surviving that in the milkshake.
Oh, it was like flecks of silver.
Yes. There's a country where they serve coffee with flecks of gold. We could totally do it. Woohoo, welcome.
I feel like that would be.
You give the were-hedgehog a hairbrush and it will fall in love. And then, no, I'm fighting the were-hog for my love's affections. I don't want it in love with me.
Pay attention.
My kids come in and then never shut the door behind them.
I do very much like Predator versus Alien. I also always root for the Predator in Alien versus Predator because they're just so cool, and they have a code of honor, and I'm all for that shit.
We love code.
So Sophie's here for your bangs.
Thanks, Sophie. I just cut my bangs like a week, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, myself.
It doesn't have the straight across. Like, oh, I've made a grave mistake.
Yeah, one of my friends was like, I know how to do this, and I'm like, I'm slightly afraid now, and she's like, no, trust me, and I'm like,
those are famous last words in movies and books. Yeah. Usually, so I'm glad it worked out.
But it turned out pretty well.
I have to make them a cake and say it's lactose intolerant, but surprise, it's 100% cow uddered milk with extra lactose.
And now you get to eat the cake.
I will say, usually cooking it kind of helps. Like, it's not as potent. Is that the word?
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
We have to give them a bunch of cakes, and then they're like, wow, maybe I'll turn.
Just tres leches. Just get them tres leches. It'll really fuck them up. Yeah, that's one of the things I really enjoy about Predators, because it's like Predators are just so badass, and then you get that like one human who the Predator sees as equally badass, and they're just like, props to you, human. You get to live. We may even work together in the future. And I'm just like, yes. There's actually
the chin up nod thing.
Yeah. They have a species name. It's like Yijat. Yujata. Haha, I was close. So
I don't know. Again, I never got past the first 2 Alien movies.
About as scary as I get is the movie Gremlins, and come on, it's got.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
It's got Gizmo in it, so it's kind of softens.
It's adorable.
I don't watch a lot of sci-fi, but the sci-fi I do watch generally involves monsters or space operas.
I mean, I can respect that, definitely.
So we're 10 minutes into the stream and I'm being so rude. Guest, introduce thyself.
Go ahead, CB.
Okay, cool. Hello there. I'm CB Ferrenz, young adult fantasy author who is a teenager. I'm 17. On my channel, I talk about, what do I talk about? Writing advice, my opinions on certain topics of writing. I might be doing skits now because that was fun. And being both a writer and a college student because I am a freshman in college. All my social medias are CB Ferrenz, and my channel is CB Ferrenz.
She lies.
Yeah, I watched
really
some of your videos today, and they had me cracking up the whole time. It's like,
oh, I can't watch my.
And that's why I realized I had the bell rung, but I don't have it rung for all. It's like, really, dude? So
really, why is that a separate option? If I rang the damn bell, I rang the dang bell.
Yeah.
I didn't
like
know
sometimes I'll get a notice and it's like, hey, this person just did this. And I get on the video and it says 12 comments, 15 likes, posted 11 hours ago. I'm like,
yeah, mine will be like hours later. Or I would just like happen to be on YouTube and then someone's video will come up and I'll like click on it. And then like a day later I'll get like, it's usually Jenna Moresi just posted a video. And I'm like, I know, I watched it.
And I watched this 2 days ago. What's your problem, YouTube?
Way to catch up. When you're hipster compared to YouTube. It's like, I know. That was so
I knew about the video before you notified me.
Well, with that, I am Natalie Locke. On my channel information is below, as well as Instagram. Writer Locke on Instagram. My videos right now is me doing a double Milwordy because I'm a glutton for punishment. But I don't know, I'm probably a sadist or a masochist or both, sadomasochist. But I just do vlogs right now. I do have some videos about the mistakes I made in writing my first novel, which is still in beta reader phase, and it probably will stay there forever as the feedback I'm getting. It's going to take some work. And but yeah, feel free to subscribe. You get to see my dogs a lot in my videos, I will say that. And yes, I'm trying to buy your subscriptions by my dogs.
Goes and binges all the videos, dogs.
My last video, I was like, I just put a picture up and I said, the real stars. Like, let's just face it. Y'all aren't watching for me.
And my guest links are all in the description down below for anybody who wants to find them. I am writing mom Samantha L. Nasset, as most of you know, but for those who don't, on my channel, I talk about parent things, writer things, and writer-parent things, as well as random ass shit on vlog days. Sometimes, like I have one just dedicated to Zelda storytelling and me. So
I saw a Zelda thing the other day that one of my favorite artists did, and it reminded me of you. I'll send it to you.
You didn't link it to me. I'm offended, but.
I sent you something else. You didn't respond.
Look, sometimes I'm drifting in and out of existence. So I also host these live streams on Mondays where we have fun, right? Or we just sit and talk about Let's Talks. And my newsletter is going out tonight. So for anybody who's not signed up to the newsletter, you can sign up to the newsletter in the description below. I also have a Ko-fi, however you want to say it. Now, so I'm using that to, once I save up for that, I will go Ko-fi Gold, and then people will be able to subscribe to that and get early access to videos. So that will be fun. But yes, tonight I will be going back and forth between working on said newsletter and critiquing. Back to you.
I was going to say, I'm going back and forth between I'm editing the last chapter of my book, so beta readers are catching up a little. So I have to do that last chapter before they get there. And between that and homework. So
worry not. This 3-week migraine prevents me from reading more than a chapter a week. So I
did the competition thing, and I did not realize how competitive people were.
I told you it works.
I mean, like, people are doing 1 or 2 chapters a day. It is intense. Like, I don't have free time because I'm like back from class and someone's like, "Are you free to do a chapter?" And I'm like, "Absolutely."
Yes. Oh, Steeg's liking the writer's block one. Relatable, as kids say.
It did terribly. But I liked it. It was fun. So thank you, Steve.
Nice.
A couple of years ago, my BFF's oldest wanted to watch Friday the 13th. She was 12. My friend made the kids watch Ernest Scared Stupid. If she could handle that, they'd work their way up to the scary scale. So fun thing about me in horror movies is, like, I think the first horror movie I ever saw was Tremors, which I don't even consider a horror movie I don't know how scary it's supposed to be, because when I was 2 or 3, my 2 aunts were watching it. And this is how they described it to me, because I have no memory of this. I just am retelling the story as it was told to me. Is they were sitting there watching it, and I snuck in the room and I was behind them, and I could predict when it was going to be scary. So they found out I was there because I jump scared them when one of the tremors popped out of the earth. Which I'm just like, damn, I was 2 and already predicting
That is
those
so
things.
you, yeah.
But
It's a graboid.
the tremor, sir, because it's called a
You were
tremor
listening.
in the first one. I know.
It's not called anything.
They don't call them the graboids in the first one.
They don't call them tremors.
The movie is called Tremors.
The movie
Therefore, the
is-
monster is Tremors.
They're a
That's how
graboid.
horror movies work.
They're a graboid.
Anyway, ignoring.
Aliens. I mean,
That is a very specific naming convention that horror movies do, is they just name themselves after the monster. But
because I'm thinking, I'm like, Slender Man, it's like,
Tremors does technically break that, because in later movies they call them graboids. But anyway, so the tremor, because that's what I'm sticking with, jumped out and I scared my aunts. And then, like, so they just let me chill in the room and watch the movie with them. And I guess I couldn't jump scare them after the first few times. So then every time a tremor would pop up, I would just yell spaghetti, because their guts look like spaghetti to me. And then at that age, we had VCRs. And so I would just rewind the movie, and I would just watch the same movie like 20 times. So they were getting popcorn and I was like working on rewinding the movie, and my mom comes home and she got so mad at my aunts and stuff. She's like, "You're letting this baby watch this horror movie and everything." And then I was like, "Mom, shh, movie." So she just like sat down, seeing me completely unfazed. She just like sat down. And then I would do the spaghetti thing, and my aunt was like, "You had your mother laughing so hard. She had tears coming out her eyes, and you saved my ass." And I was like, "Well, you were letting the 2-year-old watch the horror movie without the mama's consent. I can't, you know." So I've never been scared by horror movies. So I just have my own fun with them.
Yeah,
I alternate between getting scared by stuff or just like thinking it's absurd.
It's a fun superpower when, like, your sister gets hyper scared by horror movies but loves horror movies. So then she's just like, "Sam, watch this with me." And I'm like, "Okay." And then, like, at some point we start making fun of things.
I get really wrapped up in like movies and stuff. So like, I think it was literally last night and the night before, I was watching Enola Holmes, the new movie, with my roommate, and I was like commenting and stuff on the movie and like wrapped up staring at it. And my roommate's like, and I'm like, I guess it's like a fine movie, but I care so much. No matter, even if it's like not that interesting of a movie, I just care so much.
I saw Jaws when I was 5, and I couldn't even touch my feet on the floor while watching them. Like, I had to be on the furniture, like pulled up, and yeah, that really set the tone for me. My sister was 4 years older, and she controlled the TV. So if it wasn't Jaws, it was Dirty Dancing. And now I don't. Okay, no, I like Jaws, but I don't like the movie Dirty Dancing anymore because of her.
I haven't seen it.
It's all her fault. There's so many parodies off of it that you could just watch the parodies at this point. Kind of
it's like Footloose.
I
knew all like the version. I knew the plot of Footloose before I actually watched the movie, because everything was referenced or done a Footloose episode or something like that.
That is how that goes. Sometimes. Stig's outlining Stig's outlining Act 2, not Stig 2. Stig's outlining Act 2. He was just to die.
Or apparently I'm not enjoying it.
Existential questions. Hey. Not sure, but let's not put it to the test.
The whole you die, I die, I started thinking of Titanic where Rose was on the freaking door where they could have both fit. But that whole, because earlier they're like, you jump, I jump. And
like anybody who says they could have both fit has never tried to get on a floaty with anybody else. I'm just putting that to rest right now. They could fit, but could he have gotten on without knocking her off? That's the question.
Yeah, you just like kind of have to cling to each other.
I'm all like, bitches, I grew up with two sisters. Have you ever fought over a floaty? No, you haven't.
Yes, so, I have.
Opposite sides.
Fall.
And you swing to face each other, and then you end up like this way.
No, if it's a life or death situation, I'm probably staying in the water so that I don't knock whoever else off. That's how it's going. That's what
it depends
you do.
on whoever else is on there.
I said if I love them.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that part.
If I love them.
No,
yeah,
like if we're in a Jack and Rose situation, I'm Jack. So.
Yeah, I would probably pull the not death, so you can live thing.
Because my husband would fight me. He would just be like, "You're on the boat."
And then no one would be on the door.
He's like 2.5 times my size, so I would not be able to pull him up. I would just be up there and accepting. I would be Rose in that situation. But other than my husband, I can be Jack. Right. I'm a full-time care person for a maid. I feel that, like, I have videos on that because I have 3 kids. So it's, Tremors is actually entertaining. I've never seen the whole thing, but it's, I think, literally the only thing I've seen Kevin Bacon in. So whenever people were like, Kevin Bacon, I'm like, the Tremors guy?
He's a Footloose guy, right? He's a Footloose guy?
I think so. Yes, maybe.
Yes.
I think that's actually what he's known for.
Okay.
I think he's actually known more for the Footloose thing.
When I was in little elementary school, everyone always laughed at his name. Like, we had no idea who he was, but like it's just he had bacon in his name, so we thought it was hilarious.
Oh, does he? See, I don't remember. It's been like over a decade, but since I've seen them, and I've just called them Tremors my whole life. So
it's okay. We know what you were talking about.
My husband just likes being facetious because he likes certain tiny arguments with me. So. Yeah, see, that's how my little sister is. I love to hate horror movies. I literally scream at jump scares. So what I low key want to start like a Twitch streaming channel where Chris plays horror games. Because I love watching him play horror games. He gets so pulled into it, and I'm like, I have to live vicariously through this, because as previously discussed, this is just an experience that I miss out on in life, is I just can't get into a horror thing like that. But like, he was playing Until Dawn, and I was watching him play Until Dawn, and let me tell you, the urge to jump scare my husband was so strong.
Did you resist?
Oh yes, because
if you ever do it, you have to film it and show me.
I like being loved, so I jump scare him. My oldest, though, loves to be jump scared, so every now and then I'll just randomly jump scare my oldest.
Both of my kids, they love scary stuff, and they're like, hey, like my daughter watched the new It and she watched the old It, and I'm like, y'all have fun, bye. And I'm looking at my husband, I'm like, it's on you. She wakes up in the middle of the night.
I like the haunted houses and stuff, because I think they're fun.
I hate haunted houses because they're just so boring to me. The only haunted house I've only enjoyed 2 haunted houses, and one was when I was a teenager because me and my best friend psyched each other up so bad, but then like 2/3 through the house, it dawned on me that it wasn't actually scary and we had just psyched ourselves up, so I got bored. And then the Stranger Things horror house and Halloween Horror Nights, the first year they did it, was like so well done to the show and was just so great that like the film geek in me was just like geeking out, but I wasn't actually scared. Although my favorite part of that one was they had this table. They had this table set up with Eggos, and my husband, he does things sometimes, and he went over to the table and he was pretending to eat the Eggo, and there was a, what are they called? The Demigorgon? And there was a somebody dressed up, the Demigorgon actor came up behind him and scared the fuck out of him. And I'm watching it happen because I was like, don't go mess with the props. Don't go, fine. And then, so I'm just watching this Demigorgon sneak up on my husband, and then he yelled so loud. Oh, it's so great. It's like one of my favorite things ever, just watching him get the shit scared out of him by the Demigorgon.
Wow.
I have to admit, I do like watching other people get scared. I'll get
that's
sucked
what I
into
like when it
YouTube.
houses. It's because I like seeing all my friends freaked out. I went through one last year where I had there's a girl I had a crush on that I went through it, and that was fun. That was so much fun because she was like clinging to me the entire time, and I was like,
you're like, yes, I'll protect
I'm
you.
brave.
I just like to hear my husband scream because he doesn't like spiders, whereas I don't mind handling spiders, and it's funny because he screams more high pitched than I do. You can see the spider. Bless his heart.
Oh, see, this is semi-related to the other reason I don't like haunted houses, is because they primarily depend on jump scares.
Yeah.
And while I don't get scared by horror stuff, and in real life when something just comes at you suddenly, you react. I don't have a flight instinct in my body, so a lot of times I have to stop my fist from flying at somebody's face. So I literally almost tricked this one guy because we were walking around Halloween Horror Nights and I was playing Pokemon Go, so I'm looking at my phone, and this one of the actors decided that I guess he didn't like that I was paying more attention to my phone than everything going on, so he literally tried to trip me, and I almost decked him because I was like, motherfucker.
That seems less scare and more like the guy being a dick.
Yeah, I could have actually been, if I hadn't seen him, he would have actually tripped me. So I was pretty pissed after that. I was like, motherfucker.
Creepy ass corn maze. So people just come out of the plants and stuff and run through this one tunnel, and then all of a sudden just a bunch of hands shot out, and I ran forward, but two of my friends just went down into the fetal position. We had to go back because 2 minutes passed and we were like, shouldn't they be out by now? So they're just sitting there no. So.
I love to read the stories of where it's a group of people and one of the characters ends up holding hands in the middle of the chain and grabs the other people so they don't get separated, but they become part of the group and they don't notice till the end. I love that story.
Demigorgon.
Yeah.
This is a Demigorgon. So
that's the way I thought of them.
And the costume was actually pretty good. So it was really funny. But yeah, he's a good sport about that. So we are about 30 minutes in. Do we want to do a 15 or a 20-minute sprint?
20.
I heard 20.
Chris just voted for 20.
Why not?
I'm good with 20. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a request for a type of timer?
Wait, there's options?
There's the fish timer.
No, you don't.
There's the duck timer.
Didn't you use the Mr. timer one time? That had music in the background, or?
No, I tend to turn those off because usually if the timer has sound at the end of it, it'll make a sudden noise, and I'll be like, so.
The only time something can jump scare you is the timer at the end.
Oh, I'm not saying I never get startled. I just don't get scared by horror movies. No, startling me. I think it's not an achievement to startle me. You just may have a fist at your face. That's
fair warning though. That's my warning. That's my tagline. If you're gonna tickle me, be prepared. You're gonna get kicked in the face. I don't know how.
I'm non-ticklish, so that doesn't bother me.
Terrible.
My poor oldest is forever trying to tickle me. because he gets tickled just by the idea of being tickled.
You know,
So
our oldest used to love Five Nights at Freddy's.
he still likes Five Nights at Freddy's. He just likes other
My
things
daughter
more.
loves Five Nights at Freddy's. She loves it. She loves all of it.
All right, so we're going into our first sprint in 3, 2, 1, go. And we're back.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Felt quick.
I collected most of the pieces I will need to finish the newsletter. So, which as I was saving like images, you know, my husband was sitting next to me and he was spying on the folder because I have a folder for my newsletter. He's like, "Why do you have a picture of Ritz?" And I'm like, "If you were subscribed to my newsletter, you'd know that, wouldn't you?" I do like a spotlight. Well, I do several spotlights at the end of my newsletter, like a creator spotlight and then just like random spotlights for whatever I'm into at the time. And there was one month I'm like, oh, I haven't really done anything new that I can think to spotlight. And Fox throughout, he was like Ritz, and I'm like, I do love Ritz, and so I literally just did a spotlight about my love of
Wait,
Ritz.
any other things?
So that's well, see, here's the thing. Ritz for me are so flexible. Like I use Ritz, like I crumble them up and put them on my spaghetti, or I will like scoop chili with them, or I'll just eat them with cheese, or just by themselves. So yes, everything and anything. I just love Ritz crackers. So that's the good quality stuff that you can see if you subscribe to my newsletter.
Well, I did subscribe.
I finished the chapter for like for homework, not writing. And it was supposed to teach me how to do a thing I have to do tomorrow, and it didn't.
Oh no!
It didn't even discuss the thing, so I'm not panicking.
This is the face of non-panic.
At all.
This is the face of God.
But it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Nice.
So
I did a quick read through
Hey,
of one of my
what you
chapters before I posted for critique partners, beta readers type thing. Ended up setting up a private queue, so it's like 7 people that said, "Yeah, sure, we'll read your book," and I'm like, "I warned you what it's about, right?"
you read the summary.
It's called Therapy Sessions. There's a reason she's in therapy. It is not what you think it is. I'm either gonna have readers hate me or hate the character at the end, or they're gonna like reevaluate their entire life.
That reminds me.
Or it might not get published because it's that bad.
I'm sure you'll get it there. That reminds me, I have a few friends who I'm just like, here's a story, and they're like, I will read it, and I'm like, you don't even know, just give it to me, and I'm like, okay.
Where do you find friends like that? Because you were talking about your husband not subscribing to your newsletter. Remind me, I was talking to my husband vlog, and sometimes I'll forget, and so I'll do it right before bed. So he sees me videotaping, and he goes, "God, you're such a nerd." I'm like, "Hey, sweetie, I know it's kind of crazy with me like going off to record or do live streams." So I was like, "If you want, I'll give you the link to my channel. You can watch and stuff." He went, "Natalie, I love you, but I will die before I watch any of your stuff."
Oh, like, well,
okay,
then.
thanks, honey. Could you at least do a profile and like it though? Please settle for that.
Feed my number.
Compromise.
Chris hears me record all the time, and sometimes you'll hear him like, I will hear him just laugh, and you'll just kind of see me stop and be like, "Can I help you?" in the outtake.
Like, great, now I gotta edit this part. Or
my roommate sits there and just laughs at me as I'm filming. She stays silent though, so only I can tell. And she'll like mouth something. I was like, "What are you saying? You're making fun of me. How are you making fun of me?" So
I can kind of understand actors and actresses where they talk about, "Oh, I hate being in the scene with them because they like behind the camera they would do this or whatever," and I'm like, I would be one of those people doing things behind the camera.
You're like, that would be I would be in this post. Hey Ninja. I'm scrolling through the comments to see. Don't make me beat you, because I will. I will go to Michigan and beat your ass, Jesse. That's a friend who's being a butt.
the internet language for sarcasm is uppercase and lowercase.
I hate it so
Jagged.
much because I'm dyslexic. So I'm like, why do you people hate me? I mean, I do it every now and then if I'm in a particularly salty mood and I'm DMing somebody, but just like otherwise, I cannot stand it.
Nice.
Well, I'm glad you haven't DM'd me using that font right now.
No, I mean, I will never DM the person I'm annoyed. That
Oh,
font.
okay,
I
but
mean,
if you're
when you're talking, when you're talking
Venting.
to your friend and you're like, God, people, and then you're just like, so.
sometimes we gotta vent. That's always been my problem. Is my friends would vent to me and I try to fix it. They're like, I just want to vent, Natalie. Will you please shut up? Sorry. Continue.
Sometimes with my friends, I'm like, do you just want to yell? Do you want me to fix? Do you want me to bitch with you? I can do any. I just need to know which mode I'm in right now. Because I have
I'll
one
wear
friend.
the hat.
Which Sam do you want?
Which Sam do you need at this time? That is literally what I say sometimes, especially because like one of my friends, it could be any depending on her day. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it could be her anxiety getting to her and she needs reassurance. Other times she could just be pissed. And then so I'm just like, which Sam do you need today? I especially love when it's just salty Sam because then I just bitch about strangers I don't even know. I'm like, that motherfucker. My
How
favorite.
dare they? I'm just imagining you sitting there like with like 5 different masks going, this Sam or this Sam?
This Sam.
Or just like opens up a closet and just has all the masks. Like, voila.
It's just
Pick a
all
mask,
the different
any
shirts.
mask. Vanna White it. Where's the chat?
All right, how did everybody do? No, I see one person in chat told. Oh wait, no. Here we go. I see the other things. I'm sorry,
It's
you were
coming
hidden.
in.
I did about 130 over 2 docs. Nice. I'm lesson planning for tomorrow. Awesome. Worked on the schedule for the write-a-thon. Woohoo! Ooh, I'm excited. I messaged my sister because I was like, I don't know what Chris's work schedule is gonna look like. So, Tabby, do you think that in October, at some unknown point for who knows how long, you can back up with the kids? And she's like, sure.
Solid.
Tabby messaged me at the beginning of the stream, like 10 minutes in, like, hey, free to do beta reading. I'm like, I'm literally on a live stream with your sister.
Oh yeah, she won't watch my videos or my live streams because she's like, it's too weird. You don't sound like you. I just can't. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I was editing a video when she was visiting, and there was just this one part that for some reason I didn't have my headphones, and I'm like, oh, but I need to put the text in real quick, so just bear with me. And she's like, you don't sound like you. It's so weird.
And that's where she draws the line.
That is where she draws. She's like, she puts the videos on mute and in the background so that she's like, I'll help your view count and everything. She's like, I just can't listen to it. And she's like, even watching
made my husband agree to. Not like it. Play it in the background on mute.
Gosh, just put it in the background on mute. Help boost my stats. Woo, 341 words.
Nice.
Oh yeah. I mean, you do what you do.
My little brother will walk around playing it on his phone when I'm around him, and it's really uncomfortable. Like with the sound on.
I don't know if my sisters listen to mine at all. I should talk to them about it. I know one of them knows I do it because she's friends with me on Instagram, but
I'm glad you appreciate Salty Sam Ninja. See, my sister will literally do anything else. She just doesn't. She's like, I tried. She's like, I tried to go to your birthday stream and everything. I gave it a like.
Aww.
She's like, it's too weird because you're not in person. And I'm like, how do you exist on Discord with me when we're playing games? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, because
distraction.
Does she FaceTime with you fine?
We used to, yeah, when I lived in Florida.
Okay.
So
yeah, then now I'm kind of confused because to me this is
FaceTime.
I
think it's more the pre-recorded thing. I think it just
my eyes just teared up when I yawned. This is bad.
I'm so touched We're talking about family.
No.
The links that
tired.
family will go through. Well, y'all's family will go through to give y'all a boost. I need to work on mine. I don't know. I'll throw some guilt trips in there.
Yeah, there's some guilt trips. Oh, 384 words. Ah, yeah.
Nice.
So she has returned, and thus she must dance now.
Yay!
This is the
Get my kitty
unofficial
fix.
co-host Artemis.
Maybe.
She puts up with many, many things because she loves the pets. Like literally, I'm not like holding her against her will. She's just there.
I love
She's
her.
like, just touch me.
An
Treat
icon.
me like one of your French girls.
She's like, I will deal with this because you'll let me sit on your lap for 20 minutes without disturbing me.
Come on. Those are mine.
Aw, pups.
Puppies.
Oh my
Lilo
gosh,
and Stitch.
I had to take a nap. Like, I haven't been sleeping for I think 3 weeks now. I just nap at weird intervals, and
Sometimes when you sneeze,
so
your eyes close.
yeah, I will literally. Okay, so the other day I'm like sitting there waiting until a specific time so that I can gift somebody something, and I'm sitting there on the computer and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed after this, and then I did it, and then after that my body was like, wide awake, what, sleep, huh? Who? We don't know her, and I'm like,
Traitor.
and then I was just up the rest of the night, and I was like, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, there's like points where you like are tired, and then you're awake and you're like, haha.
It's weird because I don't even normally get tired at that point in time. I just, for some reason, my body was like, you're done. But because my sleep points, I have 3 sleep points. I can go to sleep at 2 p.m., 3 a.m., or 5 a.m. Those are the best times for me to try to get actual sleep.
I'm yawning a bunch, so I'm tearing up. I even slept till like noon today. I've only been awake for 9 hours.
I went to sleep at
I did not get the memo. I woke up at 6. Actually, technically it was 5:30, but my husband's like, you gotta go to bed. I was like, I can still get ready and leave this house by 7 if I wake up, get out of bed at 6. So I got my extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm in college. My first class was 12:05. I woke up at 12.
I think I didn't get the memo of don't have 8 a.m. classes when I was in college.
Oh.
No one was looking out for me. I did that one semester, never again.
My earliest class was 10:35.
There was that one class where the teacher only offered it at 8, or I was late to sign up, and it was 8 was the only one. I was like, I'm a little salty about it still.
Sometimes
like
you gotta take
10 years
I
ago.
don't like the mornings.
I was about to say awesome, but I don't know how to brain anymore. Sorry about that. But yeah, I like looked at this comment and I was like, oh, I should tell them that I'm gonna make videos on this. And then you guys were talking and I clicked on it, and what was about to come out of my mouth was awesome. And I'm like, brain.
No.
What? Yeah, I'm going to make 2 different. I think I'm going to make 2 videos on this, at least one. The first one will be explaining what dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dysgraphia are. The 3 discuses. I think there's only 3. Because people don't know what all 3 of those are. And then the second one is going to be about writing with dyslexia, because I have dyslexia. But I do not have the other.
Is the hardest part with that.
I don't.
I mean, writing is difficult too, I'm sure, but like editing, I think is like doubling down.
So I revise, but I say I don't edit, but what I mean is I don't edit my own work. I just revise my work. I go through and I like rewrite things that I think don't make sense or that I just want to word better. And then my alpha critique partner goes through and checks for all the typos and all the things that don't actually make sense to other people. Because that's the thing with this. A lot of people think that dyslexia is just you read weird or the letters just float off the page. For me, my letters don't float off the page. My letters are pretty cemented to the page. However, I will just straight up read the wrong thing. Like last night, I was reading something a critique partner sent to me, and the first line was a fist barreled into his face, and I read it as a fish barreled into his face. And I was like, wait,
Whole new story.
hold on, wait a sec.
This
So
changed. I was not prepared for it.
and so I was, well, technically it didn't change. It was just the fish to me first, and then I'm like, hold on, that doesn't make sense. So sometimes, yes, sometimes it's like that. Sorry, my brain fog kicks in at the most random of points. And then other times I absolutely loathe when somebody's like, oh, you have a typo in the third paragraph, because I will not see it. I will not see it at all. Like, I can say that to my best friend and they'll find their own typo, but when they say it to me, I literally am incapable of seeing it because my brain just tells me that it doesn't exist. Like, I've literally sat there and my bestie was like, there's a typo in this paragraph. And I'm like, nope, I can't find it. Where is it? And he had to highlight and screenshot it to me. And then it was just like this magic veil lifted over my document and I could see the typo. So it gets... that side of it gets very frustrating sometimes because I'm just like, I need you to be very, very specific when you tell me what to correct. But at the same time, you can tell me 80 typos and it isn't going to faze me because I'm just so used to it. And I know that it's just a brain processing thing. And also my syntax is occasionally backwards. So.
Remember what syntax is? It's been a while.
Sentence order.
Oh, okay. So like subject, verb, object type thing, and then you might switch it. Oh, okay.
Direct object, indirect object.
Thank you.
Did you took language classes in school, presumably?
Yeah.
You know how like in French, or just, I'm going to use French because I took French. In French, if you translated a French sentence, it could read the car big red because they put the noun first. So basically I would do something like that. Whereas in English, we have very specific, it's like size, color, and like we have a very, very precise order that we're just trained to understand, even though we can't.
And I didn't even realize we had that specific order until people switched the order, and I go, see, I would have said it this way.
I would switch. I switch the order on occasion for my sentence, not my adjectives, the sentence itself. So it would be like, instead of I'm sorry, my brain was like, I have a sentence, and I'm like, wait, which one's the forward one? So it's, it's all like, she parked the car and went into the store. It would be like I would default to something like she went into the store once the car was parked. And it's like, I can phrase it that way now because I'm like, this is, but as a dyslexic, it would like not make sense the first time I try to write it. So I'm very used to getting notes that's like, Sam, what were you trying to say with this sentence? And I'll be like, oh, that's not the good comment. Oh, this one's going to take a little work. So yeah. My 11-year-old nephew wanted to battle over who had more subs on IG and YouTube. First off, why do you have those at 11? Second off, now he thinks I'm internet famous. That second part.
I had Instagram at 11.
You are. Among the community.
My children will not. Because there's science behind it that children should not have social media that young. Like they have
a dog.
Yeah, that
it's
validation.
Not about that. It becomes a drug. It can become a drug, and then their brains can develop to like require it and everything. So it's like right now, my oldest likes to rewatch live streams when he comes in it, and he gets that tiny dopamine rush from everybody saying hi to him.
Aww.
So I'm like, no, sir, you are most definitely not having one until you are much older.
Yeah.
So
my oldest is about to turn 10, and she asked for a YouTube channel. She's like, I want to like your page, Mom. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want you having a channel. Like, because that means she's just that much closer where she could post something. And I just...
Well, there's child like ones where you can like manage them. Like I've babysat kids who like they like don't have the function to post videos, and they can only watch videos.
Yeah, because she's got she had YouTube Kids for a bit, but yeah.
My kids have YouTube like accounts because they have Gmails that I set up for them, and they like subscribe to people and they can like watch their videos and stuff, and I can access their accounts from my phone so I can spy upon them. But
Ooh,
Yeah.
I might try
they
that.
will not be making content. So
Yeah, I just
there's
know
a
she wants
fourth
to do that.
disc. This one will not be in
Okay.
my video because I did not know anything about this one.
Dyspraxia. It's involved with
I just-
speaking.
I just
Because
googled
my
it.
son
It's
has
motor skills.
my son has oral dyspraxia. Like he's turning 3 in a week, and he says like 3 words. So at this point, as much as I cuss, I would be fine if the next word out of his mouth is a cuss word, if it's used in the proper format sentence.
Oh yeah,
So
my
used
children
properly.
cuss all the time. You're good.
Yeah.
It's like every now and then when somebody like who isn't well acquainted with my channel, they'll be like, oh, her kids are around. We don't need to cuss. I'm like, I promise you, my kids have said more cuss words than you have this entire time. You're good. If
But I
I,
feel
the
like
mother,
since
am not telling you to censor yourself, do not tell people in my chat to censor themselves.
there was like a point where people stopped censoring themselves around me, and it wasn't too long ago.
It's kind
Like-
of funny when you switch. Like I can't remember the exact day, but it was like all of a sudden my parents didn't censor themselves, and I realized my dad is the creepy old man. I didn't think my dad was because he was my dad, but he's the creepy old man. Yeah, could the veil
sorry.
have stayed and you just stay my father?
Thanks, Twitch Fixer.
Ninja, that's not what I meant. They, especially not their uncle, sir.
Oh my gosh.
I am certain my son. So my kids are they're getting a little bit of mixed signals because we, the parents, allow them to cuss as long as they use it properly and they don't cuss at each other in anger. My mother, however, doesn't want them to cuss like in her house and stuff because I don't know, she just doesn't think kids should cuss. And so she tells them, she's like, oh, tell Nana which when she says a bad word and stuff. So now they like to tell mommy not when mommy says a bad word, but when everybody else says a bad word. Because the first time they were like, mommy, it's a bad word. I'm like, it's my word and I'm a fucking use it all I want, small child. And they were like, okay. Because that's just
Yeah.
how
Adjusting like where you can curse in certain environments as a kid is really weird, especially when you're like in the middle school age group where you still like kind of think cussing is like a scandalous thing, and then you get home and you like don't cuss, but like middle schoolers over cuss in like weird places. They'll just like drop fuck somewhere where it like really doesn't belong and makes absolutely no sense. And so like adjusting from there is really weird.
My 5-year-old adjusts perfectly. She just doesn't cuss at Nana wishes. She doesn't cuss in school. But then, like, when she's sitting at home, she'll say shit, damn, whatever. But like her brother, whom is older, he'll be like, Saucy said a bad word. And I'm like, let her use her bad words. They're not bad words, child. Which is really,
that you can handle things better if you cuss. Like it's like
I'm really trying to unteach him that just cussing in general is a bad word.
Yeah.
And I'm so annoyed at my mother for putting that in his head. I'm like,
yeah, there was a certain point when my grandparents started cussing around me, and I was just shocked. I was like, wait, what? Because they might have always cussed. I just never noticed.
See, for me, the adults in my life just always did. They just told us not to. Like my mother will go through phases where she'll be like, oh, just like when we were kids, she did that too, where it's like, oh, just, smack me on the mouth if I cuss or whatever. And I never did because I didn't care. But like now she has a swear jar because my baby sister doesn't want anybody to cuss around her daughter. And I'm like, okay, I'll try not to because I can respect that. But so now my mom has a swear jar. So every time she or my grandmother cuss, they put money in the swear jar, which then goes to our sister Tabby's crafting fund because our sister Tabby is the stay-at-home child. And so she uses all that money to just like make stuff for the kids. Like right now she's crocheting Gabriel this huge ass Zelda blanket. So It's been very lucrative for our
I
middle
would cuss
sister.
more just to pay into that personally. I don't know. I wouldn't find it as a deterrent if the money gets used for a good cause. I'm being
It's
full of
see,
God, what's the word?
I do think that that is not actually helping as much as they think it's helping. But at the last birthday party, it was really funny because my mother legitimately didn't actually cuss that much unless she was talking to my father. Because, like, not like meanly. I want to throw that out there. It's not meanly, but she'd be like, you know, babe, babe, you know, trying to yell to get his attention. And then he'd finally be like, what? And she's like, well, I just wanted to say I love you, you asshole. But you gonna be like that? And I'm all like, the one time she can't filter it. The one time she can't filter it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
My parents have a great relationship. They don't like cuss at each other when they're angry or anything. But like they are terms of endearments to my parents.
They actually use that in the Netflix show Away. The main characters call each other shithead lovingly. I was like, all right.
My sisters and I, like, well, not with our baby sister because she doesn't want she's strayed away from the path of the curse. But my little sister and I will just be like, hey, bitch. It's like, what you want, ho? That's just how we communicate.
And both
I
parties
swear,
know it's loving. I mean, who cares?
like, my little sister cusses more than I do. So, like, look, you trying to say something, Natalie?
Wait,
With that face?
no, because you said she cusses more than you do, but that's the little sister that doesn't
No.
want to cuss.
I have okay. I have my little sister and my baby sister.
Here's the list.
Yes,
Yeah.
my little sister is Tabby. My baby sister is Nikki. Nikki doesn't want to cuss, and she doesn't want cussing around her kids. Tabby, I don't think she could give up swearing if her life depended upon it. She tries so hard when our niece is around, and that's about it. Other than that, there is one point when she was like, "Oh, should I not cuss around your kids?" And I'm like, "Tabby now."
You know me.
Like, literally,
you said she couldn't, like, if her life depended on it. I'm just imagining someone going, "Stop cussing," where you die. She's like, "Damn it!" Oh,
I've done that. I did that. I was a counselor at camp, and I said like damn it, or I said like shit, and I was like, damn it, fuck, yeah, fuck, yeah. And it was like 15 seconds of me just progressing curse words, and then eventually I just had to walk away. I was like, just give me a minute.
I was a good counselor too. I know this feels.
I refer to them as my little and my baby sister. One, out of habit, and two, because neither of them want to be public figures and stuff. So I'm like, that's sort of my way of that's why I like my oldest, my middle, my youngest. I try to use their names as little as possible.
Secret identities.
Yes. But like literally when my kids are around, my sister cannot resist flicking me off. So what she will do is she will just hide her finger and then just flick me off behind her hand. Because like one day I was like, you can't do that in front of the kids or they're gonna start doing it. And then my oldest did it when he was like 3, and he flicked her off because he didn't understand what he was doing. And I'm like, see, I told you. So now she censors her finger.
So I have the stream pulled up, and I'm waiting, CB, for you to fall again so I can see it again. Full disclosure.
You know what?
I'll fall with you. Do you want me to fall with you?
Do you want me to fall with you? This support I'm here for.
There's probably on like every stream I've done of me just face planning. Like I was saying something stupid, doing something stupid, and just.
And I missed it again. So, I'm gonna have to rewatch this on the next run.
So this is actually very much how me and my sisters are, because like my grandmother growing up, just real quick before we go into the next part. Growing up, my grandma was very much like, we could call her whatever we wanted to call her as long as we did it with respect and love. And she felt that that was just fair, especially since we played video games together. And she is mean. She is ruthless. So
she didn't let y'all win ever.
Oh no! Well, she's also not very good at video games. I should put that out there too. So it's not like she totally annihilated us. No, it's just like if you were winning, you were cheating. Like, you could not legitimately be beating her and winning at the same time. So she'd literally just like, when I would get ahead of her in Mario Party, she'd be like, "Well, you little bitch," and I'd be like, "What now, you old bat?" So like.
Nice.
This is the content I'm here for.
It's like we played Mario Party with the kids, but because they're her great grandkids, she's nicer to them. And I was like, "Teddy, you see this shit? This old bitch being nice over here. Where was this grandma?" And she was like, "I don't know." She's like, "I bet they won't have to dodge any shoes."
It reminds me of a
What?
picture I saw. Wait. Oh, dodge shoes.
Yeah, dodge shoes. Well, my grandma would like. Because I love to taunt my grandmother, especially since I am much better than her at Tetris. She's actually really good at Tetris. I'm just better. And so I would beat her at Tetris from across the room. And so she would pick up a flip-flop and throw it at me across the room.
Oh, man. That reminds me, you were talking about her being better with your kids, like nicer and stuff. There was this meme or something, and it showed a grandma with like a food tray and drinks delivering it to the kids in the kiddie pool, and it's like, your mom would make you sit at the table and you're not allowed to leave until you finish everything, and here she is like presenting food to the children so they don't have to get out of the pool. I was like,
Oh yeah,
that's it.
My grandma's pretty like shameless about it. Whenever her kids complain about her being nice to their grandkids, she would be like, she's like, "Well, that's what you get to do when you're a grandparent, because they don't stress you out anymore." And I'm like, so then I guess when your grandparent gets to be a great grandparent, they get even nicer.
It just doubles down. It's exponential.
All right, so we're gonna go into our next writing sprint now. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're back.
Ta-da! Natalie, you're muted.
Natalie,
I
you're
couldn't figure it out because the bar at the bottom, because I use my phone because the camera's better. The bar at the bottom was gone. I was like,
Huh.
"Where's my bar?" Okay.
oh, sorry. If I see you struggling, I think I can unmute you as the host. So
Caffeine.
there's a
I saw
strange
that.
creature. I know she's very, very good. She's like she's laying on me vertically
Any
at the moment. She's
physical touch.
she's like, I can make
I
this
can
work.
No, the cat.
Oh, she's in the blanket now. So she's good. She's good.
Oh my god, it's so cute. Did she like crawl into the blanket, or did you put the blanket around her?
She will never crawl into a blanket. She's like scared to crawl. It's weird. She loves blankets. She likes curling under blankets, but she's scared to actually crawl under a blanket. So when she wants a blanket, she'll just like cuddle up, and then I'll just put it on top of her, and she's good. She loves it. She just won't do it herself. So my grandmother adopts many grandchildren. She likes to say she's got her 12 because she's got a dozen biological grandchildren, and then she's got like 100 others.
Oh wow!
So
I'm just now imagining all the times where like that's probably what happened with my grandparents because they were good for like $5. Not that I was greedy or whatever. It was just I knew they were going to give me $5, and it wasn't until I was older that I realized that was kind of low. But if they have like 19 grandchildren and so many great grandchildren, listen, be happy for $5.
I'm the oldest, so I'm just like I was always in a place where I kind of like understood, but sorry, my brain. I knew when my grandparents were fine financially and when they weren't fine financially. So like to this day, if I'm like out running errands with my grandma or something and we go to one of the truck stops, I'll be like, "Can I get a cup of cocoa?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can get a cup of cocoa." And she'll just buy me a cup of cocoa. So like, and if I go out to lunch with my grandparents, I'm not allowed to pay. So that's just how they are. Oh, how did you two do on the sprint? I worked more on my newsletter because I want to release that tonight.
Between projects, there's one that I'm really passionate about, but I'm trying not to do more than outline. So it's kind of hard for me to measure. And then the other one I'm trying to get passionate about because it's technically a companion novel to my first. And I have it outlined. I just have to write it, but starting is the hardest part. But 111 words is what I counted, so not much. I wish I could quantify brainstorming.
Nice.
I went to the bathroom and then went on a quest for caffeine. I was successful. And then I tried my pizza and it was not good because it's been sitting next to my desk for about an hour. And then I sat down and got like the tiniest little bit. Like I found some extra notes. So I have this notebook where when I went through with my dad reading out the chapters, I like made notes and stuff. And so I found a page where it's chapter 20 again. I have a beta reader on chapter 19. And I just found these notes. So I was like, oh, and so I went and luckily it was just like little stuff. So I went and I fixed that. So back to last chapter, which I did absolutely nothing on. But caffeine.
My arm has been, oh shit.
Yay. Super boss.
She just looked around like, what do you
want, mother? She does that all the time. Like she's unfazed. She won't move, but she's just like, what are you doing? She literally has her paws wrapped around my arm. 72 is good. 168. Woohoo. 2 more pages of my critique. Let me just move my mouse to the other side of my computer real quick. Good thing I'm ambidextrous.
Okay. Left-handed.
I'm pretty sure
I
I
like
was
being
born
left-handed.
left-handed, and I'm just trained right-handed, so it's made me ambidextrous. Speaking of jump scares, forgot I was on stream. My heart literally skipped a beat as you whispered, and we're back. So that's why I tried to like say it very softly.
Yeah, you've scared
Yes.
me countless times.
Ooh, nice. Okay, dog.
Nice.
Seriously, calm down. I'm getting excited.
Welcome, Daniel. Welcome.
I count that as self-care, personally. You're catching up with your
Depends on-
family, friends, staying informed.
Depends on the day, if it's self-care or procrastination. So whichever one you want it to be, Carrie. Oh. 522 words. It's a lot better than last time, and I didn't get distracted. Woohoo!
Better than me.
That just reminded me that I forgot to add a character into a fight scene. So, shit. They're there. They do absolutely nothing.
Consistency is key. So that reminds me, when I was beta reading a novel, there was a scene in which someone was being presented gifts for her birthday, and there was just one person who didn't give them a gift. And I had this elaborate theory revolved around why that person did not give them a gift. And then the author was just like, oh no, I just forgot. Thank you for reminding me. And I was like, not my theory, my plan.
One of the biggest plot points in my trilogy, basically the premise that makes it a trilogy, came because I forgot a character in a scene, then went to like tie them into the end of the scene, decided I didn't really want them there for the next bit, and then had them leave abruptly for seemingly no reason. And I was like, wait, now I need to come up with a reason, and hence the plot of my trilogy. I was like, yeah.
You're like, about that.
I had the flip reason. Like, I had invested so much thought in the story. The main character doesn't want to go to therapy. She's like, but it's her last resort. She's like, well, I want to get better and not having anxiety attacks. But so she goes, and when the therapist introduces himself with their doctor title, she's like, okay, yeah, sure, and decided to, instead of calling her Evelyn, call her Eve. Well, something happens and she gains respect for the therapist and changes to Evelyn. All my beta readers were like, why is she all of a sudden calling her by her full name? I'm like, I failed. Like, I put so much effort into this thought of like, oh, she's under my authority, and I
think that maybe because of just like just societal and cultural things, because like when someone calls you your full name, it's like more formal, and when they call you like a nickname, it's more personal and stuff. So when you switch from like formal to the nickname, it's like, oh, well, they've gotten more comfortable and everything. But then when you switch from the nickname to a formal name, it's not generally a sign of respect. It's like, why you mad at me? Why you using my full name? What the fuck I do? So
I know a lot of kids who call, at least in high school, my college is weird, so we call the teachers by their first names, which just makes me all sorts of uncomfortable. But at high school, if you didn't like a teacher, you would call them by their first name. If they're one of your favorite teachers, you would, almost characters, you would just call them by their last name, just their last name, without any like Mrs. or Mr. But if you didn't like them, you would just be like Barbara. I never had a teacher named Barbara. This is the first thing that came to mind.
I think it's largely about tone, and that's harder to convey in text. So
yeah, and it's not I can't do the alternating capital and lowercase to convey it in formal writing either. So I could do a text exchange.
Italics.
Yeah, italics for emphasis. may work. So like, oh, you're not italicizing the name anymore. Ha ha. So that could be a good visual indicator.
Rather than
Yeah.
Barbara. It's Barbara. I keep coming back to Barbara. I don't know why.
Oh,
My
love how
grandma's name is Barbara.
it.
I had a babysitter. She was actually in her 60s babysitting us. I don't know how my parents knew her, but she, I want to say her name was actually Barbie. I thought it was Barbara, but she's like, no, call me Barbie. And this woman taught us to play poker. She drove us like to get ice cream in the like late evening.
So my papa's name is Kenneth, and I don't remember if she's his older sister or just his oldest sister. Like, I think he's the oldest, and then she's the oldest after him, and she's just the oldest of the sisters. But either way, he's Kenneth, and she's Barbara. So people called them Ken and Barbie. So I was like, for me as a child, I was like, that's weird because I ship Barbie and Ken, and I do not ship my grandfather and his sister, so no.
Didn't Ken and Barbie like break up like a few years ago? It was like a big deal.
Either way, I don't apply that to them. That's always felt weird to me that their cousins and stuff did that, but referred to them by those names. But yeah. First name on teachers is the standard. Never heard anyone call their teachers, but that's fascinating.
That's kind of cool. I will say, dropping the formality in adult learning has like pretty much graduate or degrees or onward. I've noticed it's more like just talking like you're adults. And anything under that, it's still like professor or Mr. Mrs.
See, for me, I'm going to call you whatever you told me to call you. Like, that doesn't matter how it is. My friend Ninja, that's not his real name, but that is the name I refer to him as. That, like, he has physically visited me in my house and stayed in one of the rooms, and I will still, when speaking to my family, be like, oh yeah, Ninja. Because that's just how I've always known him. Like, my husband, I don't actually call my husband by his name most of the time, not when I'm talking to him. It's just there's this plethora of endearments that I use instead. But, like, his screen name when we first met was One Winged Angel, so I just called him Wingy, and that was just what I called him. Even into our marriage, that was what I called him. So, unless you, like, physically tell me, I need you to start calling me by my actual name now, I'm like, you're just gonna be whatever you told me you were. That's how he is.
That was my issue. I call my husband by his middle name, and he likes to golf. That's his, because he's a stay-at-home dad, so that's his break. That's his release, and I make sure he gets his time. So, of course, he's golfed 3 days in a row now. But he, on the golf course, he goes by his first name. And it happens so much because we've been together for 10 years now. But I'm like, okay, do I need to change? Like, do you want me to start calling you by your first name or something? Like, we had to have like a talk. I was like, I don't know what to call you anymore. What will you answer to?
I called him Chris the other day, and he was like, what did you call me? And I'm like, your name? He's like, you do not use my name. And I'm like,
am I in trouble?
That's when my parents use my full name. Like, obviously CB is my name, but like not even my nickname, which they call me. When they use my full name, I'm like.
So my grandmother, because Samantha was, of course, the most rare of all names in the world in the 90s. I had 2 different things she would call me. When she wanted my attention and there was a bunch of other children and she had no idea if there were any more Samanthas present, she'd just be like, Sammy Lynn. And that's what she would call me. But then when I was in trouble, it was Samantha Lynn. And I was like, oh, okay. We're doing the whole thing now, are we?
It's funny as kids, like how we get so attuned. Like, I had it down to a science on who, because my bedroom was at the end of the house and it was a single story, so it took a while to get back there. And I could discern who was walking, if they were walking to my room, and if they were coming to chat or they were angry with me just by the pace and the tempo. Like,
Yeah,
I had it down to a science.
I can recognize people like going upstairs and stuff. Like, oh, I know who that is. Like my neighbors, because I'm in a dorm. When they walk by, I can know who it is by like their pacing.
And then you
how
jump to the
heavy.
door. Oh, I gotta tell them something.
Yeah, like I can literally just tell who it is because my bed's right next to the door. And like
Freak them
people,
out, call out their name, and they turn around going.
I have a window right to that side, and there's like the main path in campus right outside my window, and we keep our window open because it's nice. And so I know like so many people's voices on campus because we also have a very small campus. So I know a lot of people's voices. Also, they don't realize that I can like people around them can hear them, so like talk about stuff really loud. But so I'll like meet someone in person, they'll speak, and I'm like, I know you from the window.
Hey,
It's not creepy at all.
I know which of my children is coming down the stairs based on how heavy their step is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in the middle of the night, like last night, it was raining, and my children don't like storms. So the first one came downstairs, and I'm like, that one's Roxy. And then after that, I was like, I was laying there, and I was just thinking, I'm like, which one of that's both of the boys. Because, like, they threw me off for a second, because one, like, started down the stairs and then waited for the other one because they were too scared to come downstairs by themselves.
Aww.
See,
Yeah,
right? I don't know anybody who who that's
terrifying.
not their.
My parents will sometimes like text it to me, and then I like that's even worse because you can't even like there's nothing there, just the full name, and I'm like everything that I've ever done wrong in my entire life plays in my head.
Rolling everyone. Okay, what do they know about? What do they not know about?
So my mother likes to take it up a notch, and she'll not only use my full name, she will then also use my sister's full names when she's just yelling at me, and vice versa. So it's like it's really interesting when you're just in the other room not doing a damn thing, and then all of a sudden you hear your full name, your sibling's full name, your cousin's full name, and then finally she remembers which child she's actually yelling at, and you're like, okay, not me, I'm fine.
Nice.
Yeah, I mistake the kids' names a few times, and my parents, they actually did the same thing because they decided to make it hard on themselves by making us all have the same first letter of our names. I'm like, why? Why would you do that?
So fun fact about that is I am doing a video dedicated to naming characters, in which case I have an entire point revolving around how important the first letter of a name is. Because, like, I see people get into the discussions a lot in a few writing servers I'm in, where they'll be like, oh, well, the first letter doesn't really matter as long as the rest of the name is different. And I'm like, no, that is the exact opposite of the truth. Because your brain, dyslexics and neurotypical brains, all do this. You take the first and last letter of a word, and then your brain fills in the rest.
Yeah, I had a friend.
Your brain just sort of like guesses at it. So characters who have the same first letter will be mixed up more often than characters who have a different first letter but an otherwise identical name. For example, my sisters and my nicknames are Sammy, Tabby, Nikki. Like, they're spelled almost the same, have the same conventions. It's A, 2 consonants, and then an I. Our nicknames are never confused, ever. Nobody ever mixes them up because it's S, T, and N. Our first letters are different.
Mm-hmm. I had a friend who was asking me about about naming a character, and they had a character with the same two characters, same first letter, then it was a vowel, then it was different consonants, and then it was the same vowels from before. So it was like Kama and Kesa or something like that. And they're like, this is different enough, right? And like 3 people were like, yeah. And I was like, no, I forgot the different ones. Like, those are so close on so many levels.
I think it mildly boils down to just people, they just look at the names in that context of the question and they're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't like mix that up or anything. And then they like think about saying it out loud, and it's like it's different when you hear it versus when you read it.
Yeah.
So I think people just, they really want to be supportive and they want to help, and a lot of people don't want to be like, oh no, your names are too similar, you have to rename your character, because they know how hard it can be to name a character. And I'm like, nah, you need to let people know your readers are gonna be real annoyed at you if they're reading a scene and they can't keep track of who is who. So
I have two characters that interact a lot that both start with F, and I'm like half considering renaming one of them, because like I don't think only every once in a while someone will mix it up, but it will only be like they'll mix up all the characters' names, and I'll be like, have you been paying attention? That is not that person. That is not that person. But it's still like really close. So.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah,
it was
so
the
like-
ending. It ended with an A. I had two characters where they ended with A, but they start with different letters. It's Tara and Nora. Nora's the main character. She's well established before Tara comes in. But then I thought about bringing in a Sarah. Well, Sarah's name got changed because I was like, that's too many A's at the end. Like, it just, it having them in one area.
See, my sister's names start with the same letter, and my mom mixed our names up all the time. Yeah.
Oh, so
Please tell me I'm not the only one who just mentally flipped through all the names in your book to see if you're in the clear. One tip I will talk about. For example, my main three characters are Nova, Killiam, and Kieran. And Killiam and Kieran are both Ks. Despite the fact that the rest of the, they're KIs and that's it. But that is enough that it does sometimes confuse some people I'm talking to. So, nicknames. Your narrative is going to use the name that the narrative character most commonly associates with that person. So Killiam, he's going to be Liam through like most of the book. And that's it. Like his real name will come up just because it's like, oh yeah, this is his like full name, but he's just going to be Liam.
Yeah.
So, and like whenever I refer to him as Liam and Kieran, nobody gets confused.
Oh yeah, and then so I have a character named Ferrenz, and my last name's Ferrenz, and some people are like, oh, was that on purpose? And I didn't know it till my first beta reader pointed it out, and I was like, oh no, that was not on purpose, because Ferrenz was based on like.
Heads.
I did admittedly misread his name as your last name a few times.
Yeah, and it autocorrected like in the first like when I used to like type it on like Word, it used to autocorrect, and I just thought nothing of it. I was like, oh, it's an F and an R and an N name. But then people started like, oh, did you do that? And I was like, no, it meant like thief or something in one language, and then I took away like 3 letters to make it sound better. But no.
So some people are very dedicated to certain things that maybe they shouldn't be dedicated to.
It makes it really difficult because then you start playing with the names a little bit more, and then the kid grows up and going, no, you spell it this way, gosh, because that's the name they know, so it's easy. And
this is how I spell it.
Has it wrong. Yeah. I feel bad.
My CPs mixed up 2 of my characters all the time, Adara and Amelia. That's when I knew readers wouldn't stand a chance. Right? Like, if your critique partners are getting confused, your poor readers.
Yeah. That's why
Sophie just commented, because Sophie's one of my beta readers, and Sophie was one of the people that pointed out the Ferrenz thing. I can't believe it's been 5 years since I had this character, and I never...
It never did.
I mean, that can be a thing too, but like my mother, she's her dyslexia is far more severe than I, and she just mixes up everything sometimes.
I've called my kids by the dogs' names and the dogs by the kids' names before.
My parents do that.
Also,
I've
if you're
called
like
people my own name before. I've like, hey you, but except I said my own name, and then it like took them a while. It took me a while, and they were just like staring at me, and I'm like, what? Like you just said your name.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
Amelia
no,
is
that's
now
bad.
Winona. So, like, I'm gonna just let everybody know this is not a sin that I was immune to ever. This was something I too had to learn. Nova's name used to be Sylvia. She used to be Sylvia of the Sylvia of the Silver Clan, under the deity Silveris, and her father.
Oh my
was
god.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But
Just so many.
things were fixed. It's fine.
Try to say that
Now
5
she's
times
Nova.
fast.
Oh, Sylvia Silver of the Silver Clan. S's don't
Yeah.
trip
I
me up.
have Selena of the Silverstein Forest. Silverstein, I'm not sure. But close enough. I don't think it's only said like together once or twice.
Crystalia
Or both.
in Catalia. That's how I would say that.
Oh,
Until I
Dahlia
remember
and
a different story. That's fair.
Sophia.
I'm gonna. Part of me is all like, like most of my main characters' names are gonna start with an S, and I'm like, maybe I should not do that.
actually, it's not
Debate.
until we have this conversation that I realize my main character starts with an N. I'm like, it's not a self-insert. Like, I swear, like, I actually went back and like changed some of her stuff.
I made a video about writing habits where I wholeheartedly admit that I love the letter S because my name starts with the letter S, and a lot of good names start with the letter S. So like, I very much gravitate to S's.
I don't have any characters with C is the actual letter of my first name. I don't have any characters, I don't think, with C as the first letter. I keep naming characters A, like with the A as the first letter. I don't know why. It just keeps happening. There's like Albert, other Andreas. There's just so many. And they're all like just side characters. It's like, A.
So the ending letters are not as important as the first letter because the first letter is the first thing that. So like you'll see the beginning letter, and then your brain will start picking words that start with that letter, and then you see the last letter, and your brain will fill it in.
Yeah. The only reason I cared about the last letter in the story I told previously is because I was out of the 4 characters, the main character was established. These 3 were being kind of introduced at once, so that was also another faux pas on my part. So I kind of, even though they were mentioned, they weren't on the page until this point. So I had to smooth that out.
It's also about personal preference. If you just don't want that many people with a ending letter. I'll say letter ending, an ending letter. People mix up my sister and my name. My sister is Cassandra or Cassie. Audra,
I got a question, and I apologize, CB, because I hate asking questions that exclude someone, but you could probably have experience on this. But what is harder, naming your kids or naming your characters?
No, I don't have experience on this.
Yeah.
Neither.
I don't mean to include, but it just popped in my head.
I don't really have trouble naming anything, to be honest. I really enjoy and love naming things. I go by 2 philosophies with naming. The first one is that simple is really good because it's just an ancient thing. Like if you think back at all these really cool ancient names, you look at their definitions, it's super fucking simple. It's like super, it's just like very basic things. It's like Rose, Lily. They're named after flowers and they're really pretty. And so like whenever people start making fun of people for naming their kids like after nouns, I'm like, do you not understand the naming convention since the dawn of man? Like, I mean, so for me, I was always attracted to the name Michael. That was just like my name since I was 5. So I told my husband, I was like, if we ever have a boy, he will be Michael. I care about nothing else. The rest of the thing is up for discussion. That he will be named Michael. And since Chris and I were both writers, we just had lists of names that we enjoyed already. And my husband's very into angelic themes. So Michael, Gabriel, Raphael were our boys' names, with Roxanne and Selena as girls' names, and then we were like, we'll find another girl name if we need it, which is Trixie. It's the third one. So, yeah, I love naming things, and I love name meanings and stuff. So it's always the
I've
fun
used
part.
a lot of my favorite names on characters. Like ever since I was like, when you're a little kid, you like play pretend. And when I would play pretend with my friends, we would play someone else. Like I always played Willow Ironguard or Willow Sylvester. So I'd play Willow, and now my main character's name is Willow because I really like that name as a little kid. So
wait, is that from Buffy that you?
No,
it, or?
I was
okay.
I'm too young for that. I actually started watching it over quarantine.
Ooh,
it's fine.
Okay,
it's fun. It's fun.
Some don't age well, I admit.
I had to watch. I watched it like a few episodes in one night, and then I didn't go back to it because I think I was watching like She-Ra or something.
I tend to have like as a kid, I had mixed feelings about any show that was all about girl power, where like half of the show revolved around her not knowing what to do with life because of a boy. I was all like even at a young age, I was like.
Yeah.
I can't save the world because my boyfriend broke up with me, and I'm like, fuck you. Go save the world anyway. Just ass or something. Just move on.
Just, like, be sad and then get over it. Come on.
Which I know in the 90s, a lot of those shows were really progressive, but being raised the way I was raised, even in the 90s, I had that critical eye that most people, now I'm gonna be hipster a little bit. Most people now, they'll like watch Buffy now and they're like, oh, well, it's a little problematic. And I'm like, isn't it? But isn't it though? And like, that was me when I was a teenager. I'm like, oh, so you see now. So I'm just like,
I don't think I actually made it to anything problematic.
So, well,
I got to like the first episode.
There are times when Buffy goes into she just doesn't want to save the world anymore because of a boy. And also the age difference between her and Angel is highly questionable.
Is that the guy that plays what's his face on Bones?
Yes.
Yeah.
The romance between her and Angel was highly questionable to me. And then also Spike, as much as he's several centuries old, first of all.
I thought you meant
I don't like vampires with teenagers. It's just weird, and please stop.
But also, just physically looking at them, he looked in his late 20s, and she was very clearly a teenager. So just like And then also, as much as I love Spike, as much as I love him, he does create some questionable things in the show, and it's just like, I don't know. As an adult, I actually enjoyed it more as an adult because I understand what the issues with it are, and so as an adult, I can be like, okay, yeah, this is media, it's fiction, it's fine. But as like a kid or as a teenager watching it, I was hyper critical of it because that's how I was learning, about the world and the world standards, and I was just like, we don't not save the world just because we're sad about a boy. I was just very not okay with this concept. I was very upset about it. I was like, you can be sad, that's fine. You still have to go do your job, damn it. So
when I like read some YA books, I'm like, yes, target audience, me. And then I'm reading it, and it's like, I don't like it.
And I love Cordelia. She had like the best character arc and development, and then she got so fucked over in Angel, and I was like, so upset about that. So
yeah, of course. I agree with you. I'm just gonna agree with you because I feel like you're right.
I couldn't even watch Angel.
No idea who that is.
I tried, and I just couldn't. But it was also
I watched it for Cordelia, and then they did her so dirty, and I was so upset. But
okay. Of you.
I broke down. I watched Legend of Korra. I'm like watching it because I
like it. As long as you
Avatar came out when I grew
Avatar.
up. Avatar grew out like when I was a child, so it was my childhood like go-to. And as I rewatched it, I realized 90% of my personality is based on those characters. And then I watched.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was like hesitant to watch Korra for a while because the stuff I knew about it like did the gang dirty. And I'm like honestly enjoying it like 100%. Like I relate to Korra so badly, like so much, and I was not expecting to. It's good. I like said it on a previous live stream that I wasn't gonna watch it, and I like raged about it. Nah, it's great. I really enjoyed it. Also gay, so
Yeah.
you know.
It happens.
But no.
No, actually, who do you like Korra or Asami more? Like, would you rather?
Oh, I like Korra more. I feel
Okay.
like they didn't do enough Asami. I really liked her, but she was like not there for like some episodes. She just wouldn't show up, and I'd be like, "Where's my badass cool girl?" But no. Once you get past the first season.
I stopped watching after season 1 because I didn't appreciate how they handled the breakup with Bolin, and I was like, I am not going to be okay with this show, so I just stopped.
Yeah, that was really. I didn't like it. I don't like the relation that they did a love triangle for like 3 out of 4 of the seasons, and I just wasn't here for it.
I don't mind love triangles
when they're pitted against each other because
I
of
don't.
guys.
My main issue was just when he got his heart broken, he ran away crying comedically. And I had a big issue with the way it was framed. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. So, but also at the time, because this was when it first came out, the only way to watch it was to like go to or whoever's website, and then you had to stream the episode, and then you had to put a lot of effort into watching the show. And I was like, no, I'm just like, I just don't care that much. So
no, I liked it a lot more, and I do have to like just ignore the fact that it does the gang dirty, like because I can't handle the fact that I don't like stories that happen after the original story, because especially when characters are dead. Main characters from the previous thing are dead. That just messes me up so bad. I don't like it at all.
I think it was season 2 when she battles Rava.
Rava.
And I think.
Wait, Sam's saying a
thing. Take us back to the chat.
Oh yes. Sorry.
My name is Storm. See, this is the cool shit that I like. Like Samantha doesn't actually. Cool. Fun fact: the name Samantha doesn't have a definition. It is a mashed up name between Samuel and Amanda, and was made.
I'm named after a writer.
People like to say that it like means listener or something like that, but it actually doesn't. If you look at the name origin, it has no definition. It's just a name created in the American colonies.
I know I almost got called Naomi, but my parents chose Natalie instead. So I don't know how.
I almost got named Virginia.
Names are fascinating. If I had been
now I got
a boy,
Virginia stuck in my head.
If I had been a boy, I would have been Spencer. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, "That's a dorky." Oh, it's a good name. See, I love the name.
It was my grandfather's, so like, and I loved him. So
a lot of people I know would like to razz me about it, and they'd be like, "Oh, Spencer, so you'd be like a super dork?" And I'm like, "No, I've seen like my cousin, and I'm pretty sure I would have just been like my cousin." And my cousin was pretty ripped at the age of like 12 or 13 because he worked on cars and stuff. And like I worked on cars and stuff with him too, but did not have the same level of testosterone. So it didn't quite work out the same for me. But I'm like, I'm fairly certain that my cousin Zach is just how I would have been with a boy body. So like masculine body.
So today I learned the true meaning of my name.
And what is it?
From the Latin phrase Natalie Domine, I don't know. All right. Meaning the birthday of the Lord. So Christmas. No pressure.
I wanted to make that joke, but I know that he's actually born in, I think, spring.
I don't
It's right
remember
up there
any
with the
of
guys named
Hold on.
Christian.
Sophie, as someone who grew up on
Sophie's
Avatar,
really going off.
really enjoyed Korra. And then she's like, no, I agree. Sam is right. That was bad. Holy. Look, Sokka got me through most of Avatar because
I
I
love Sokka. My favorite
secretly
character ever.
cannot stand Aang.
I
So
love him. No. No, I realize that a lot of my mannerisms are like Sokka or Aang. It's not as much about Katara, but
here's the thing. I don't
Yeah.
like pacifist. I don't like pacifist who, well, I don't like
I'm talking
extreme
about
pacifist.
jokes and stupid faces, mostly.
Oh, okay. I just whenever the character arc or the main plot starts becoming, should we kill the bad guy? No, we shouldn't kill the bad guy because that's bad. I'm like, the bad guy has slaughtered thousands of people. Just take him out, man. Take him out.
I give Aang a little leeway because he was 12, but other than that, yeah, normally when it's like adults being like, if we kill him, we're just like him, and I'm like,
I
no,
don't because people
no.
like to be all like, oh, but
Not
he's so
agreed.
mature and this and that, and I'm like, just let Kyoshi do it. It's fine. It's fine.
The queen icon.
I'll be honest. I mostly watch for, oh god, I just forgot his name. The
Zuko?
bison.
Oh, Appa.
Yeah, Appa.
Yep.
Appa and Momo. And when there was that episode where just them two, like, and following their stories, and Momo trying to follow.
Oh, the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Yeah, where it does like little episodes of everyone. That
like,
always makes me cry.
It's like Momo's looking for him. God, that
So
was
much.
sad.
And then Appa's Lost Days. Tears.
I'm looking for a new timer real quick.
I'm excited. I feel that my roommate's bed is like right there, and so she's like in the very far corner of her bed, so she's not on the stream.
Well, it's either
Sorry.
that
Sorry,
or
it's
you
just
turn the
difficult
camera
back to
so
that
you
one
see the
instead of this
window.
Nah, it's way too messy over there.
All right. Are
No,
we
your house
ready
is
for
so clean. Don't look behind the camera.
Are we ready for what will be the last sprint of the night?
Sweet.
Yes.
Maybe I'll be more productive.
We're gonna put banners up because that's a thing. I finally figured
fancy.
out. 3, 2, 1, go.
was lively. Just exploded.
And and we're back. Sorry, I was rewriting a sentence, and I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm going to forget. So how did everybody do? The letter is almost done. I did the TSS release spotlight. I'm mostly through my other spotlight. I will say I hate titling my newsletters, though.
Yeah. I reviewed a few chapters, and then I finally remembered a shower thought I had a few days ago to how to fix my ending. And I'm just glad it came back to me. I get a lot of thoughts in the shower, and I can't get to my computer quick enough. I really need to come up with like an invention.
I tried to understand what my homework assignment is that is due tomorrow, which it's like a giant project, and I still have no idea what it is. So it's been explained to me like 4 times, and I still just do not comprehend. So yeah, I'm doing great. Like if you watch the playback, you can probably like just see me panicking, like turning to my roommate and going,
Is anyone else in the class like got their cell phone number?
No, I'm new to the class. So yeah, I transferred in. I emailed one girl that I know because she's like directing a film that I'm auditioning for. So I like emailed her. I was like, hey, do you understand? So
fingers crossed.
Yeah. Chat.
Chat, save us.
I'm fixing the typo. Sorry that I was informed. I made in the video description. I was like, no, I have to fix the typo.
Oh no.
Okay.
How will we ever survive?
Yes, chat. How did you do? Ooh, I enjoy fun facts. So I was curious about the plant heather recently, so I looked it up. It can be used medicinally as a tea for a lot of issues, including UTIs, respiratory issues, and colds. It symbolizes admiration and good luck and is believed to have protection powers. Ooh. On that note, lavender is witchcraft and can help with anxiety, migraines, a lot of things. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I like to lavender candles helps with anxiety and migraines, and I use like this lavender bath salt when my migraines are really bad.
I had this like lavender scented I'm not sure what it was, but it was like put it places. It was like a liquid, and I might have spilled it all over my room.
Oh no.
Like I was like, oh, I'll put a little, and then I couldn't tell, so I put a little more, and then I dropped it, and I picked it up, and then I was like, well, I still can't smell anything, and so I put a little more, and then like the bottle was slick, so it kept like moving around my hands and spilling more, and then it hit me, the smell. Yeah, I had to like ventilate my room. Really
oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm mildly obsessed with lavender since I figured out it helps with migraines, and like my husband is more obsessed than I am though, because certain disorders and disabilities, you know, your spouse just can't help you with a lot of the time, and so he latched onto it as a thing he can do. So if he sees that my Epsom salt bag is getting like low or something, he'll buy a new one. But also he presented me with this Old Spice deodorant that he was like, it's lavender scented, and I was like, why yes, I will accept this gladly. So how is that going? I am curious. I imagine
if you need help, Jessica.
I would imagine it's very tedious because it's
the
like
dot is a little alarming.
Yeah, because it's gonna span like 36 hours and all
Yeah,
like 70
and she's
something
also
people
doing
signed up.
the break ones, or the chat ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, ooh, 611 words. Ah, yeah.
A lot of words.
Nice.
Ah, yes. We appreciate everything that the teachers are doing right now. My kids are in virtual school, and it's amazing. Except that they're always home. I mean, what? I love them.
That's a lot of words.
Yes, awesome.
Oh,
That's impressive. Like overall, or just in the last sprint?
I'm too lazy to do the math to figure out my word count for this sprint. I almost finished chapter. Valid, very valid.
Sometimes not
Nice.
putting a quantity to it makes it easier. Like,
Yeah, I'll keep track of my word count for like sprints and stuff when I'm writing with other people, but otherwise I just do it like scene and chapter and stuff like that, or plot
Yeah.
point.
Mine will be time because I only have a limited time throughout the day to like do stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, you can go ahead. I'm just making like
Yeah.
session chat.
No, that was the end of the thing. Like I will only have like 20 minutes
like well,
to like sit down and work. So I'll work for 18 minutes and then go to the next class or whatever.
oh, so you shorten yourself just to make sure you're on time.
No, like literally I'll have like, so I have a 40-minute lunch break one day. So I'll get food and then come back here and like check up on stuff and then head to the next class. Yeah. And then evenings where I get most of the work done, but I have to balance like homework and beta readers and stuff. So I'm doing a video on it eventually.
So I don't think I would be able to do this because I think my dog would rebel, because my dog really loves my pillows that smell like me specifically.
Aww.
So like she's literally stolen one of my pillows before and put it in her dog bed.
I love that.
When we were redoing the room, so Chris and I were like out in the living room on a full mattress. Therefore, there was not room for the dogs, so we just had to put the dog beds by the bed. And my pit bull, literally for an hour straight, just tried to crawl in bed with me and just could not, because she just could not fit. And I'm like, no, you can't be up here. So I took one of my pillows and I just put it in her dog bed, and she sniffed it. And she just curled up beside it, not on top of it, just beside it. And I was like, you are such a clingy baby. So Jack said that was the last few, or writer's block was that. Lavender is some of my favorite teas. I have lavender scented everything. See, if I had to pick a favorite floral scent, it would be honeysuckle, because it reminds me of my childhood. But
well, that's right, because where you grew up, because we had a honeysuckle tree, and I remember taking the flowers and like sucking.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't even.
You're the only person I've met who also did that. I'm so pleased right now. Like when I told my husband about honeysuckle, he's like, "What's a honeysuckle?" And I'm like, "It's a honey
it's just my
flower
entire
thing.
Childhood, no big deal."
Like, how can it's like how to explain honeysuckle? I'll get there eventually. It's not hard. I just have to double check everything and then triple check. Yes. Time consuming. That's the word I was looking for 8 years ago.
What was I doing?
Everyone really likes lavender.
My foot just fell asleep.
Oh, that reminds
so I'm
me.
trying to read, but also my foot's tingly, so I'm like.
Y'all were talking about lavender, and my favorite smell is eucalyptus. Like, it calms me or something. I don't know. I like eucalyptus. I'm the oddball. I'm sorry. I don't hate lavender.
I like lemon flavored things. I like lemon flavored things.
Like a citrus smell to it a little bit, type stuff. I like that too. I think lemongrass sometimes has that. I don't know.
I like lemon candies and ice cream.
I might try this. I just don't know how well it would go because I am not what one would call a stationary sleeper.
Same.
I don't even wake up with the same pillow I went to sleep with, so.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
my husband tries to
have
smother
many.
me while I sleep. So I get like this much of bed to sleep on, and then he's like enveloping me like an amoeba. Which is why we will never get a king size bed because he won't use the other side. It doesn't matter. I'm not paying that much.
We have a king size bed because I wanted it. And my husband was like, okay. And then he's
Yeah,
like, oh God, this is
Bravo.
amazing. I'm
Smart
like, yes.
decisions.
I went from a
Well,
full size bed at home to a twin here.
Oh no. See, I can sleep in any
I don't
size
like
bed
it.
by myself. But like we have 3 children who sometimes they all sleep in their
Anyway.
room. Other times you get last night where suddenly the bed goes
Cat.
from
Oh no, cat
2
was
of
going
us
for the
and
computer.
dogs to 2 of us, 3 kids and the 2 dogs. And it's like last night I was just like, Michael, do you have room on the bed? And he's like, looks around. Yeah. And then he looks.
The cat.
It's just like, do I need to have Nabby move over for you? And he's like, no. And he just laid on the dog. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Our pit bull loves that though. She loves when the kids use her as pillows.
My cats have the special skill of the 3 of them sitting on the bed, so I have the least amount of space. I'm like, how do you do this? It's this big, yet somehow you take up the entire bed.
So this used to happen a lot when I was a teenager because I'd like fall asleep in the living room or something and someone would tell me to move to a different room and I would just do it like still sleep. So then I'd wake up and I'd be like, this is not where I fell asleep. Or because I was so small, I would just be moved into a different room and then
My
it's all
parents used
like,
to pick us up and like move us to our beds. And that hasn't happened in a while. But it used to be like alarming. Like, how did they get here?
I think the last time I was physically moved to a different room was last year before Chris messed up his arm because I only weigh like 110 pounds most of the time, so he just
Soaking wet.
moves me places. Yes, soaking wet, I might hit 115. Oh. All right.
Well, I
Well,
have to say, I love this chat. I know we talked about
I love.
scary shit at the beginning. We talked about cussing. We talked about.
I also love my chat. They're pretty easygoing. They go with the flow and everything. And they're also like I just have to shout out appreciation for chat for like I said Mondays are horrendous for me for migraines for some reason, and chat just does not care. They're just like you can take 5 years to say a sentence, Sam. We're good. So I just love and appreciate that about chat. I fall asleep in my bed and wake up on the couch a lot. I have also woken up with a blanket laying in the middle of my bathroom floor. That last part, when the nausea is really bad, sometimes I just sleep in the bathroom. And like Chris used to be like, "Are you okay? Do you like want to go back to the bed?" And I'm like, "No, the floor is cool. The floor is good."
The floor is my friend.
We just bought a purple mattress though, and let me tell you, it's the best bed I've ever slept on.
It is?
Yeah, they're
mattress topper.
There's like 4 different levels of purple now, apparently, and we have I think the 3 because there was a store that we could actually lay on the beds to test them. It's like the only store that carries purples in store, or so they tell us. And so we like tested the purples out, and they were like, "This is the 4," and I was like, "That's too nice for me, no." And then we laid on the 3, and I was like, "This one's good."
So you
gotta upgrade to that luxury because that's actually a thing when you're like used to a certain level of quality. If you like are then suddenly exposed to something that's like 3 times better, your body just is like, no, what are you doing to me? Comfort? Luxury? I'm offended.
I
Terrible.
will keep
The
you in
purple
pain
actually
all
comes,
day tomorrow.
it actually comes with this warning that it could take your body up to like a month to adjust to sleeping in a nice bed. And I'm like,
Wow.
Wow.
well, let me tell
Because
you,
I've
it took
done
me
people
one night.
before.
Took me one
Like,
night.
imagine
I was
that. We reached 3 hours. Boom. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, was that your goal, CB, to hit 3 hours? All right, so
I was like, we were at 59 or something, and I was like,
so I should go ahead and close the stream now, just because I need to get my newsletter out
I'm a
soon,
student
and I'm almost
with
done.
class and a project, which I don't know how to do.
But
It's great.
And
I'm
Godspeed.
doing great.
so go ahead, do your outros.
CB.
Cool.
Okay.
Bye there. Hello. Bye. Goodbye. Anyways, I am CB Ferrenz. I'm a young adult fantasy author who is a teenager. I am 17. On my channel, I give writing advice, make semi-stupid, semi-funny jokes, and talk about being both a writer and a college student, which I am, a freshman in college. My social medias are just CB Ferrenz, and my channel is CB Ferrenz as well. Hold on.
And by the way, it's not stupid, it's funny. If someone thinks it's stupid, the joke went over their head.
Thank you.
I am Natalie Locke. I am a sadistic writer trying to attempt no worry, meaning 2 million words. But before you think I'm too crazy, I am including critiquing in there. So every word I read, critically thinking counts. Take that. It's still a lot though. 2 million is rough. But so that's what my channel is right now. I upload every Tuesday. My weekly synopsis. Don't even think of words. I'm usually not up this late, so I'm gonna cut out before I talk myself into a hole.
Cool.
All right, and for everybody who doesn't know, and those who do, I am Writing Mom Samantha Nasset. On my channel, I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things, as well as just whatever I want to, and share my writing journey and experiences. I also have a Ko-fi, which I'm trying to earn enough on there so that I can get gold Ko-fi, so that I can like start doing early video access and stuff for people.
Yay.
And I'm sending out a newsletter tonight, so if anybody wants to see it, please do sign up in the link down below.
Oh.
And yeah, so thank you everybody for watching, for chatting, for interacting, and for rewatching the stream.
Yeah.
Bye.
Just
Bye.
bye.